By the time I realized I was wasting my life, it was already too late to keep lying to myself. And this time, it didn't feel like just another thought. It felt real, heavy, uncomfortable. The kind of feeling you can't ignore anymore, because the truth was finally catching up to me. I had felt this before, many times. Late at night, when everything got quiet, when there were no distractions, no noise, just me and my thoughts. But every single time, I found a way to escape it. I picked up my phone, I scrolled, I distracted myself. And I told myself the same lie. Everything is fine. I still have time. I'll figure it out later. But deep down, I knew the truth. Nothing was fine, not even close. I was wasting my life. And the worst part? I was fully aware of it, every single day, every single night. I knew I was doing nothing. I knew I was delaying everything. I knew I was becoming someone I never wanted to be, and yet, I didn't stop. Because I had become comfortable with procrastination, comfortable with excuses, comfortable with doing absolutely nothing. And when a person reaches that level, they don't try to change anymore. They just justify everything. That's exactly what I was doing. I kept telling myself, everyone is like this. I'm not the only one. I still have time. But those weren't truths. They were just comfortable lies, lies that kept me stuck. Every morning, I woke up the same way. I grabbed my phone, without thinking, without control, and I started scrolling. Videos, clips, other people living their lives, while I was just watching. Time kept passing, and I kept consuming, endlessly. And then suddenly, I would check the time. 2 hours gone, just like that. And then came the guilt, that heavy feeling in my chest, that quiet voice in my head asking, "What are you doing with your life?" And instead of answering, I avoided it again. I told myself, tomorrow will be different. Tomorrow. That one word was destroying my life. Because I kept pushing everything forward. Every goal, every plan, every dream. Always to tomorrow. And slowly, without even realizing it, I postponed my entire life. And the most dangerous part? I got used to it. I became comfortable being average, comfortable being stuck, comfortable being invisible. And then, one small moment changed everything. I was scrolling through my gallery, just like any other day, killing time, avoiding reality. And then I saw it, an old photo of myself from 2 years ago. I stopped, zoomed in, and stared at it. That version of me looked different. Not physically, but mentally. There was something in my eyes, energy, confidence, hunger, hope. And I couldn't recognize that person anymore. So I walked to the mirror and looked at myself. Really looked. And for the first time, I didn't like what I saw. There was no confidence, no energy, no fire. Just emptiness. And that's when it hit me. Hard. What happened to you? Silence. Because I knew the answer. Nothing happened to me. I happened to myself. I wasted my own time. I delayed my own growth. I destroyed my own discipline. And I slowly became someone I never wanted to be. That realization was brutal. It didn't hurt on the surface. It hit deep. And for the first time, I couldn't run from it. I couldn't distract myself. I couldn't lie to myself. Because the truth was standing right in front of me. And it was undeniable. I had done nothing. I had achieved nothing. I had built nothing. I had just existed. And that scared me. Not failure, not hard work, not struggle, but staying the same. Because if I didn't change now, I never would. And then I saw it clearly. If I kept going like this, 2026 would look exactly the same. Just another wasted year, just like the ones before. And then another, and another, until one day, I would wake up and realize my entire life was gone, and I did nothing with it. That thought broke me completely. That night, I didn't sleep, not even for a second. I just lay there, staring at the ceiling, thinking, analyzing, replaying every wasted moment in my head. And for the first time, I had an honest conversation with myself. No excuses, no distractions, no lies, just truth. And the truth was simple. If you don't change now, you never will. And in that moment, I made a decision. A quiet one, but a real one. No more excuses. And that decision was the beginning of everything. The next morning, nothing felt different. No motivation, no excitement, no sudden energy. Just resistance. Heavy resistance. My mind was fighting back. It wanted comfort. It wanted the old routine. It wanted the easy path. Just scroll a little. Start later. You deserve a break. The same voices, the same lies. But this time, I didn't listen. Not because I felt strong, but because I was tired. Tired of being the same person. Tired of disappointing myself. Tired of knowing I could do more, but doing nothing. So I got up, slowly, without thinking too much, because I knew something important. If I started thinking, I would stop myself. So I moved. That was my first real win. Not something big, not something impressive, just getting up when I didn't feel like it. And that's where everything begins. Not in big actions, but in small decisions. I walked to the mirror, looked at myself again, and this time, I didn't avoid it. I said it out loud. No more excuses. Simple words, but heavy, because I knew what they meant. They meant discomfort. They meant discipline. They meant doing things I didn't want to do. And I wasn't used to that, at all. I started small, very small. No crazy goals, no unrealistic plans, just basic control. I stopped touching my phone in the morning. That alone felt impossible. My hand would automatically reach for it, like muscle memory, like addiction. And sometimes I failed. I picked it up. I scrolled again, lost time again, felt that same guilt again. But this time, something was different. I didn't quit. I didn't say, I'll try again next week. No, I stopped, right there, and I reset. That moment is everything. Because most people don't fail, they quit after failing, and I refuse to quit. Not this time. So I created rules, not complicated ones, just 3. Rule 1, no excuses. No matter how I felt, I had to show up. even if it was ugly, even if it was slow, even if it was imperfect. Rule 2. Focus on one thing. No distractions, no jumping between ideas, just one direction and full attention. Rule 3. Daily progress, even 1%. But something had to move forward, every single day. And then the real battle began, because discipline isn't built in comfort, it's built in resistance. Days passed, some good, some terrible. There were days I felt unstoppable, focused, sharp, disciplined. And then there were days I completely fell apart. Back to scrolling, back to wasting time, back to old habits. And those days hurt more, because now I was aware, I knew better, and still I failed. That's where most people quit, that exact moment. But I didn't, because I realized something. Failure isn't the problem. Staying down is. So every time I fell, I got back up, quietly. No drama, no self-hate, just reset and continue. And slowly, very slowly, things started changing. My focus improved. My energy stabilized. My mind became clearer. And for the first time, I trusted myself, because I was finally doing what I said I would do. And that builds something powerful, self-respect. And once you build that, everything shifts. But the journey wasn't over, not even close, because the hardest part was still coming. By the time 2027 arrived, I wasn't the same person anymore, not even close. But here's the truth. No one noticed. No one clapped. No one said, "Wow, you've changed." Because real transformation is silent. It happens in the background, in the small moments, in the boring routines, in the days no one sees. I woke up early, worked without excuses, focused without distractions, repeated the same habits again and again, day after day. And slowly, it became normal. Discipline stopped feeling like effort. It became identity. And that's the biggest shift of all. Because once something becomes your identity, you don't fight it anymore. You become it. I was no longer someone who tried to be productive. I was someone who worked. I was no longer someone who wanted to change. I was someone who acted. And that changed everything. I looked back at the version of me who used to say, "I'll start tomorrow." And I didn't recognize him anymore, because now I didn't wait. I moved immediately, without overthinking, without fear. And that's when I understood something powerful. Your life doesn't change in one moment. It changes in small decisions, repeated daily. That's it. No secret, no shortcut, just repetition. And most people, they never experience this, because they never start. They wait for the perfect time, the perfect mood, the perfect plan. But that moment doesn't exist. It never did, and it never will. The only thing that exists is now. This moment, this decision, right here. And if you don't act now, you won't act later, because later becomes never. Just like it did for me, for years. So if you're watching this, and you feel stuck, lost, or behind, listen carefully. You are not broken. You are just repeating the wrong actions. Change those actions, and everything changes. But only if you start. not tomorrow, not next week, not in 2026. Now. Because one day, you'll either say, I'm glad I started, or I wish I did. And that choice is yours.